They didn't get Dwight Howard, but they did get to keep Deron Williams. But how is it all working out in Brooklyn? Welcome into the Sporting News Studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort, and we are throwing elbows talking NBA with our NBA writer, Sean Devaney. And Sean, I think Deron Williams is closing in on like 100 games with the formerly New Jersey, now Brooklyn Nets. How would you assess where he is right now?
Well, I'm sure the Nets are thinking, you know, we paid this guy $100 million. It'd be nice if he shot 40%. That would be a start. He can't even get to that number. Yeah, you know, he's really struggled, and this week he sort of pointed to the fact that it's been an adjustment trying to get into Avery Johnson's system. And there's some truth to that. You know, Avery Johnson's not the pick-and-roll coach that Jerry Sloan was, and that's the play that really made Deron Williams a star. So there are some complaints about the system, and you know, he might have a point. You know, that's something that when you look at the numbers, you really break him down. You know, he does not run the pick and roll as much as he did in Utah. It's much more of an isolation type offense. That's not really his strength. So, yeah, you know, there's some problems there, and you're going to need adjustments both on Williams' part and on Avery Johnson's part.
But I assume he's not going anywhere, and this is just something they're just going to have to work out.
Well, yeah, you know, 5 years, $100 million, you know, that's a tough contract to trade to start with. But yeah, you know, he's certainly not going to go anywhere. It's going to be up to either Avery Johnson or Deron Williams to change. If anybody would wind up going anywhere, trust me, it would be Avery Johnson.
There you go. Now, talking about Dwight Howard, we mentioned him, and the Orlando Magic obviously were not with him this year, and it didn't really appear that there was any good way for that to work out for that team. But now you look at them, and they're not performing too poorly right now.
No, I mean, you know, if you told me before a season that a team built around Aaron Aflalo and Big Baby Davis was going to be able to, you know, hang around 500 and be in that playoff mix in the Eastern Conference, I would have said you're crazy. But you know, Davis has played pretty well, and Aflalo has been very, very good, and really they've gotten a great job out of their new coach, Jacques Vaughn. And the fact that they're in the playoff mix, I don't think that they'll stay there in the second half. I think eventually the overall lack of talent is going to catch up with them. But you know, the fact that they're in there at this point, you know, that gives that team a little bit of credibility. They will have the opportunity to make some moves. They've got Jameer Nelson, and he's a guy who could certainly get the attention of a contender that wants to make a deal, and certainly J.J. Redick is another guy who will be considered as trade bait as well as we get closer to the trade deadline. So, you know, the Magic are not in nearly as bad a position as I think many of us would have predicted.
Very good. Now, you're telling me finally today that Kobe Bryant has actually mellowed out. What's going on here?
Yeah, you know, you remember back a couple years ago, you know, certainly in the Shaquille O'Neal days, Kobe was not always a pleasant fellow. You know, there was a lot of you know, a lot of bitterness and a lot of back and forth with the media, things like that. And then certainly in the post-Shaq days, when Kobe was demanding a trade and was you know, railing against Andrew Bynum, railing against Mitch Kupchak. You know, he had sort of the angry young man thing going. But you know, these days it's certainly we've seen a much different Kobe. You know, I spent time with him in London at the Olympics, and he was a much mellower guy, very easygoing, very easy to talk to. You know, this week Andrew Bynum suggested that playing with Kobe Bryant sort of stunted his growth. And, you know, a couple of years ago, Kobe Bryant might have taken offense to that. But you know, this time around, he kind of sat back and said, you know what, he's probably right. I probably did. And you know, that's a side of Kobe that has developed in the last few years that really wasn't there before.
Very good. All right, Sean, thanks so much for your time today. We'll look forward to throwing more elbows with you next time.
Thank you.